Let's create a beautiful webshop together that's easy to set up. I will show you step by step how you can fill up the shop and maintain it easily, how you can customize the design, improve the shopping experience, and how to make sure you set up the shipping correctly, and much more. This video is a part 2 of a full website tutorial, so if you don't have a Squarespace website, make sure to check out the first video in this series. Before we add any product, please go to Settings, Selling, Payments. At the bottom of the page, you will see Store Currency. Change it to the currency you want to receive your payments in, and this will also be the currency for the product prices. Go to Website, Regional Settings. Choose either metric for centimeters and grams or imperial for inches and pounds. Also set your country and time zone. Now we can start to set up the shop. So go to Products and Services, Products, and here select Add Product, and I will choose Physical because for this video I will create a store that is selling original paintings and prints. You also have the options to sell services, digital downloads or gift cards. The setup is very similar for all of them, so once you learn one, you can easily add other types as well. In order to sell something, you will need minimum a business subscription. So let's start filling in the details. Our first product will be an original painting. For the product name, I will type the title of the artwork. Let's call this one Landscape Number 1. In the description, I will add the most important information that I want people to learn immediately, that it's an original oil painting on canvas, the size of the artwork, and for this demonstration, I will use the AI to expand it in order to fill up the empty space a bit faster. Under the button text, you can change what the purchase button should say, and I will leave it the default Add to Cart text. The additional info section is where you can add more details, such as longer text, extra photos, image galleries, or even videos. This is a great place to share the background story of the artwork, or maybe shipping and framing details, or anything else worth mentioning. For this example, I add a description about the painting, and I also upload a video by clicking the plus button and copy-paste a link to a YouTube video. And don't worry if the video does not appear here, it will be visible in the product page. Under Forms, you can ask questions or provide information when someone adds the product to their cart. Personally, I don't recommend to use this since it slows down the shopping experience, unless there is something important about this specific product. To demonstrate how this feature would look like, when someone clicks on the Add to Cart button, a pop-up window will appear. And let's say you want to offer framing for this painting, and you want to ask the person if they would like the framing. So how to set this up? Click on Add Form. I call it Framing Information, and I add a form field and choose drop down. I ask the question whether they are interested in the framing option, and I explain that this would be billed separately. Then I list the possible framing options so they can choose from it. And their answer will be of course visible to you when they purchase the product, so you can reach out to them if needed. If you need some more general information from your buyers, I recommend asking those questions rather at the checkout, and of course I will show you how to do that later. Next, let's upload the images of the artwork. Either upload a new file or choose one from the library if you have already uploaded it. Make sure you give a descriptive file name for each image so search engines like Google can find it more easily. For example, I name it based on the artist and that it's an original. I include the type of painting, so landscape, and the title of the artwork. Also, if someone saves the image, they will see this name. Add multiple photos if you want, for example, one showing the painting hanging on the wall or you holding it. Adjust the file name to include something descriptive like on the wall. Also, make sure they are good quality pictures but not too large files, otherwise it can take longer to load them, which can create a poor user experience. Under Inventory, we will add the price, the size of your stock, and any variants if available. If the artwork is on sale, first enter the original price, then tick the on sale box and add the discounted price. For originals, there is only one piece, so uncheck the unlimited stock and set the stock to 1. Stock keeping unit or SKU is for organizing larger product ranges. If you only sell a few unique works, you can skip it. But if you have many products, it's definitely worth researching how this can help with tracking and identifying different products. Variants might include options like with frame or without frame, but unfortunately, for an original artwork, Squarespace can't use such variants. The problem is that it would treat each option as a separate product, even though there is only one original piece, and variants will be relevant later for the art prints. I won't go into the details of the subscription, they usually don't apply to artists. Just for you to know, this option means that customers can subscribe to buy products automatically on a recurring basis. Fulfillment is basically telling how you will deliver the product to the customer, and shipping setup can be a bit tricky and it's not super quick, so I prefer to finish everything else first and then talk about shipping and fulfillment a bit later. Here we can set up our main categories, original and print. These categories will be visible in the shop, so people will be able to browse all of your arts together or filter them to see only originals or only prints. I will place this painting in the original category. You can also add tags. These are not visible to others, but they are very helpful for you when you are searching for products in your list. For this one, I will add tags like original, landscape, and the name of the painting. Setting up the taxes for your shop is also kind of a bigger topic, so I will come back to that as well. Product add-ons won't be relevant for most artists. These are related items, accessories, or complementary products that can be purchased alongside a main item. They appear as options directly on the page of the main product to encourage customers to add even more to their cart. Still, feel free to explore this feature if you would like to have this in your shop. Under Marketing, SEO, and URL, you can make your site and products easier to find when someone is searching in Google or other search engines. You can also customize how your pages appear in the search results. By default, the description under the link is automatically generated by the search engine, but you can change it to something more specific or more appealing. Click Edit, and for the URL, I will add the name of the artwork along with original painting. For the SEO title, I will include the name of the artwork, category, and the type of the painting. For the SEO description, make sure to write it in a natural language, give a clear, appealing description of the product, and if possible, include your most important keywords near the beginning of the description. Regarding the keywords, think about what people might actually type into Google when searching for artworks like yours, and include those phrases so your painting can appear in relevant search results. Once you have finished, click Apply, and now let's save the product page either with the hidden or the public option. Click the three dots and select Preview. This is the default layout, which you can change if you want. It's worth mentioning that what you set up here for one product will be applied to all of your product pages. Without writing your own custom coding, you cannot have a different look for different product pages. Let's click Edit, then Edit section. You can change how the photos and the description is showing with 4 different layouts: simple, wrap, full, and half. I will keep the default simple layout and choosing Inset for the width. You can show the photos in 3 different ways. And I will stay with this slideshow. Variant display will be only relevant for prints. Feel free to change the text and content alignment and the width of the button. For the product navigation, I suggest to keep the breadcrumbs option so viewers can easily go back to your store in one click. I like having the description positioned below the price. You can choose your preferred gallery aspect ratio, as some ratios work better with certain type of art. I prefer keeping the small thumbnails on the side, though placing them below the main image is also an option. Feel free to adjust the gallery width, the image spacing. With the click action, you can decide what happens when someone clicks on the image. Nothing, zooming into the photo, or opening a lightbox to navigate through the rest of the images. There is also an option for zooming when hovering over the image. If you enable zooming for the click or the hover, you can set the zoom factor up to 5 times. For higher zoom levels, make sure your images have sufficient resolution. If you want to modify the additional information section below, you will need to edit it directly within the product itself. The good news is that you don't need to repeat all these steps when creating another product. We can simply duplicate an existing product and update the necessary information. Everything else, like all the settings we just configured for the section, will stay the same. I will go ahead and create a few more products for the original painting category, just to give you an idea of how a finished shop would look. Of course, I will not go into every detail. Essentially, all we need to do is to go back to the product list, click the 3 dots on the right side, select duplicate, update the name, description, and additional information, upload new corresponding images, adjust inventory details, update tags, and SEO description. Now that I've set up all the artworks for the original category, I will move on to setting up the prints. I will start by duplicating an existing item and updating the details. I want to change the category to print and update the tags right away. The only new feature we need to cover is adding product variants. To do this, go to Inventory and click Add under Variants. For this option, I select Size and I will list the available print sizes, either separated by comma or pressing Enter. I will add 3 different print sizes, and to demonstrate adding another variant, let's include frame options. Click Add option, choose Custom and type Frame. For this product, I will offer prints without a frame, as well as with a black or a white frame. On the right hand side, you can see the preview of how these options will appear on your site. I personally would like to list the size first, followed by the frame. To change the order, hover over the options on the left, then drag and drop to arrange them as you want. After saving, you can see that now I have 9 variants, because each size and frame option can be chosen separately, resulting in 9 different versions of this product. Things get a bit more complex if you want to assign different prices or stock numbers for each variant. To do this manually, you need to go to Edit All and update each variant one by one. For example, if I want to create a limited edition print with 20 pieces per variant, I need to set the stock to 20 for each option. I also need to adjust the price individually depending on the size and whether there is a frame. And potentially, I need to update the packaging dimensions. All 4 dimensions has to be typed one by one for each variant. Well, whether you need to include the packaging dimensions depends on your shipping method that we will discuss later, but as you can see, doing this manually can become extremely time consuming. If you only have a few variants, updating them one by one is fine, but there is a faster method for batch editing. First, let's go back and save the product, then go back to your products list and click Export All. This exports all product information into a CSV file. Open the CSV file and find the products you want to edit. In this way, you can quickly adjust stock numbers, enter different prices, and update other details such as categories or tags all at once. And this is especially helpful for editing packaging dimensions and weight, which can be really tedious in Squarespace. Once your edits are complete, save the file and make sure you keep the CSV extension. Go back to Squarespace, click Import, select the updated CSV file, and click Import again, and now all your variants are updated at once. Let's look at the preview of this print. You will see the minimum price first, and when customers select the size and the frame, the final price updates. They can also choose the quantity they want to buy. The only difference in the format here is that you can decide whether variants appear as a drop-down menu or as buttons. And this is how it looks in the mobile view. Finally, let's take a look at the finished shop. Go to Website, Pages, Store. So all published products are visible here and people can browse by categories as well. The first thing I notice is that the items are not in the order I want them to appear. By default, the most recently added artwork shows up first, while the ones that I created earlier appear at the bottom of the page. We can change the item order from the left panel by clicking All and dragging items into the order you prefer. There is an option to send an item directly to the top or to the bottom. Unfortunately, you will also need to reorder items within each category because changing the order here won't affect how they appear within the category page. Now that the item order is done, let's modify the appearance of the store. Click Edit and Edit section. You can switch between inset or full width, which determines how much of the screen will be occupied by the images. You can also adjust many things, including column and row spacing, the number of columns, the aspect ratio of the images, the text alignment, and many other things. Additionally, you can choose whether to show the Add to Cart button or whether to display the price on this page. It's important to note that these settings apply across all category pages. For example, if you choose not to show the prices on the main store page, they will be also hidden in the original and print pages. So these pages are interconnected and they inherit the same settings. Let's save and exit to see how the category pages look like. Click on Original, and as I mentioned, I will need to reorder the items here as well. And as you see, the settings are exactly the same what we set for the main page. Even though the breadcrumbs option is on, I don't see an easy way to return to the store. So to fix this, go back to the store page, and next to the store, you can see the setting wheel. Click on that and go to the bottom of this page, turn on filter visibility. It adds a third category called All, and you can of course rename it, and this makes it easy to return to the main store from any category page. Oh, by the way, you can also change the order of the category names here. Just go to Categories and drag and drop them into the order that you prefer. So at the store now you can see 3 categories: Print, Original and All. I just want to quickly see the mobile view as well. Here the number of columns are maximized in 2 and I think it looks very nice. There is one more feature that I would like to show you and then we continue with the shipping. This feature is also in the store settings. Go to Advanced and here you will see Quick View. If you enable this feature, then when visitors hover over a product, they will see a Quick View option. If they click on it, a pop-up window opens with the product details, images, descriptions, variants, and an Add to Cart button. And all this without leaving the main shop page. And of course, they can also choose to see the full item in case they want. This feature is to make the browsing faster and more convenient, and of course, it's up to you whether you want to use it. To set up shipping, go to Settings, Selling, and Shipping. Squarespace offers shipping label extension, which lets you connect your shop to certain delivery companies, and this allows you to buy and print postage labels directly within Squarespace instead of using the carrier's website. These extensions mainly work in the US, so I don't have any experience with these. I won't cover them here, but if you ever receive many orders, it might be worth exploring it. Click Add Shipping option, and I will focus on the first 2 options since the carrier calculated option only works in a few countries. Setting up shipping essentially means that you decide how much customers will pay for delivery when they buy something from your shop. You can choose flat rate, which is a fixed price per order, and the price can also depend on how many of these items are purchased. The weight base means that the cost of delivery will depend on the package's weight. You can create multiple options, but keeping it simple is the best. For example, if your paintings are similar in size and weight, or you only sell prints, you could use flat rate for all of them. If you sell a variety of artworks from small to large pieces, you might use weight-based shipping for bigger originals and flat rate for prints and small paintings. Or you could choose weight-based for all products and the total shipping cost will simply add up at checkout. I will show you how to set up both flat rate and weight-based shipping. Before adding shipping prices, you will need at least an estimated weight and size for your artworks. And remember, the final package will be a bit larger and heavier once it's wrapped for shipping. The next step is to check the website of your postal service for the prices for the different weight and destinations. They usually provide a calculator or a clear list of prices. You will need to use these numbers to set up the shipping cost manually in Squarespace in order to avoid surprises after a purchase. For example, let's say I want to use flat rate for prints. Prints are very light, so multiple prints will not increase the shipping cost significantly. I name the first option domestic shipping print, and this name will be visible at checkout. In Sweden, where I live, domestic shipping of a light package costs around 90 Swedish crowns, but my shop currency is in dollars, so it's around $10. So I will set the base rate to $9.50 per order, and for every purchased item, including the first one, $0.50 will be added. This means that one print will deliver for $10, two for $10.50, and three for $11 in totals, and so on. Next, I will create another option. I will call it EU shipping print. Shipping to other EU countries costs around $35, so in a similar way, the base rate will be $34, and each purchased item, including the first one, will add $1 to the shipping cost. So one print will ship for $35, two will ship for $36, and so on. For the region, I will need to add each EU countries manually. Finally, I will add international shipping print for the rest of the world. A light package can cost around $38, so I will set up the price in a similar way. For the region, I select rest of the world, which covers all countries that I did not specify in the previous two options. So practically anything outside Sweden and the other EU countries. Or of course, you can manually pick all countries you want to ship to specify it. Click Save and these shipping options will be ready, and later on we will just need to add them for the prints. Now click Add Shipping option again and let's set up shipping for the originals, and this time based on weight. For the name it will be similar. First I add domestic shipping original, and up till 3 kgs it will cost $25. Then for any weight between 3 and 5 kilograms, the shipping will be $36, and between 5 and 10 kilograms, the delivery will be 47 USD. Let's say that orders over 10 kg is quite unlikely, but in case someone orders many paintings at once, I add a number here as well. And this is domestic shipping, so I select Sweden as the country and save. I add the prices for the EU country as well in a very similar way with all the different weight ranges. And then I'll need to select each EU country one by one and save. I add the prices for the international shipping as well, selecting again the rest of the world for the region and click Save. Okay, so I got this error message, but it's not an issue actually. It's only because I did not add the weight for the prints, but for the prints I don't need the weight. For the originals, I included the weight already when I filled out the product details in the CSV file, so those are fine. But just to be on the safe side, I mention again that for any product that you want to ship based on weight, you need to enter the estimated weight in the product details to ensure that the correct shipping price will be applied at checkout. Now close settings and let's get back to our products, and let's set up the so-called fulfillment profiles so that Squarespace knows which shipping method to assign when someone orders a print versus an original artwork. Click on Fulfillment Profiles, then click Add Custom Profile, and the first one I will add is for the prints. So I will call it Shipping Options Prints. Then I select all 3 shipping options that I just set up for the prints, namely domestic, EU and international, with print in bracket. Then I click save and I will add another profile. I call it shipping options originals, and I select all 3 shipping options with the name including original in the bracket. And then save and click done. And now let's assign these profiles to the products. I filter the product list to prints using the search bar on the top, and I select all of them. And then at the bottom of the page you will see assign profiles. Click on that, and in the pop-up window I choose shipping option prints and apply. And with that, finally we are done with setting up the shipping for the prints. And now we just have to do the same thing for the originals. So now I search for originals, and once I select one of them, the option for selecting them all at once will appear at the bottom of the page. So I will use that to select all the original artworks, and then I will assign the profile for the originals in the same way. And now finally we are done with the shipping and fulfillment, so let's test it quickly. I go to my store and I will add an original and a print to the cart. Then I click on the cart, then checkout, and the prices are as expected for domestic delivery. It's $10 for the print and $25 for the 3 kilogram original painting. So in total we get $35. And if I add one more print as I wanted, the price increases with $0.50. At this point, I want to mention one last thing. Under delivery options, we only have one option right now, but in case you want to offer express or economy shipping, you can set them up the exact same way, just with different prices, and you can let customers choose between them. In case you do this, it's a good idea to include estimated delivery times in the option names. Now let's set up how you will receive payments when you sell something. So go to Settings, Selling, Payments. Stripe is an online payment service that lets you safely accept credit cards and other payments. Click Connect. Since I am working in a trial mode, I won't be able to demonstrate the full setup here. If you don't have already a Stripe account, you will need to create one, and of course provide your bank details so you can receive payouts to your bank account. Then you will need to authorize Squarespace to manage your payments on your behalf to Stripe. If you would like to accept payments through PayPal, you will need to grant Squarespace the access to that account as well. If you run into any difficulties, there are many useful sources that walk you through this process. Now let's customize the checkout experience. First, let's go to the website because I prefer having a cart icon instead of the word cart in the main navigation. To do this, click Edit Header, click on Cart and then on the pencil icon. Under Style, select Icon and choose the one that you like the best, then save and exit. Now go to Settings, Selling, Cart. If somebody clicks on the cart when it's empty, they will see a button with the message Continue Shopping that they can click, and by default this button leads back to the home page. But here you can change the destination to any page that you want. I will set it to the shop page instead. I don't recommend enabling express checkout. If it's on, then the Add to Cart button will not be displayed in your shop. Instead, a purchase button will be visible, and if someone clicks on it, they will be sent to checkout directly, meaning that they won't be able to add multiple items easily. Finally, note that the light theme only affects certain styles. For example, if your site has a dark background, you can improve the cart visibility by making its appearance lighter. Now go to Selling, Checkout. In the first step, you can set up Abandoned Cart Recovery. This sends a reminder email to customers who left items in their cart without completing the purchase. The email is sent one day after they leave, and you can edit the text to match your brand. Once you are happy with it, click Activate, and you can later manage or adjust this function under Email Campaigns Automations. So back in the checkout settings, I won't set a minimum order amount so customers can finish a purchase with any amount they want. Under Receipt Details, you can customize how prices appear on receipts. For example, whether to show the price before tax and list the tax separately. This setup depends on local requirements and whether you are required to collect tax. If you plan to send newsletters, you can also let people subscribe to it at checkout. I won't go into the mailing list management here, but what's useful to know is that you can edit the message next to the checkbox and even make it pre-selected, so customers must uncheck it if they don't want to receive emails from you. Once you are done, click Save and return back to selling checkout. For the address, I will keep the shipping and billing address the same by default, but people can change it if the two are different. Finally, you can choose which destination country will be selected by default at checkout, and people can change it to their country from a drop-down list. If you would like to collect additional information from them during the checkout, you can manage it here. Phone numbers can be optional or required, it's up to you. Personally, I prefer to keep the checkout simple, so I will not make it mandatory. To gather more details, you can add a custom form. For this, click Enable Custom Checkout Form, Edit Form. I name it Additional Information, and this title will be visible at the checkout. You can add fields such as checkboxes, drop-down, surveys, but if you set up something like this, I would definitely recommend to keep it minimal. For example, you might want customers to be able to communicate delivery instructions. A text field is already included by default, so I just simply rename it to Note and update the description to something like add any information you would like us to know, for example, delivery instructions. I will keep this field, of course, optional, it's not required. Since I want the checkout to remain simple and quick, I would only keep this one text field, but just to demonstrate to you how you can set up a few additional things, I will show you in case you are interested. Let's say, for example, that you want customers to accept your terms of service before completing their order, especially if you don't accept returns and you want to protect yourself legally. It's, I think, anyway a good idea to write your own terms and conditions and return policies if you sell something. And by the way, a good way to do this is to create a dedicated terms and condition page under the not link part of your site, then link it to your site's footer so it's ready for people to read it. But to add this requirement at checkout, add the checkbox. For the name, I write required field, and you can leave the description blank or write something like, please read and accept the terms and conditions. And instead of adding the options, you just say, I accept the terms and conditions of this shop and mark it required, so the customers must check it before buying something. Alternatively, if you prefer not to interrupt the checkout with an action, just delete this field and simply add the line field stating that by completing this purchase, you agree to the terms and conditions of this shop. And then this way there is no checkbox, but you are still legally covered. There is another idea. You might want to ask people how they found your website. You can use a drop-down menu, rename the field to How did you find my website? And provide options such as YouTube, Google search, social media, and so on. And each option you enter will appear as a separate choice in the drop-down list. And once you are finished, just click Save in the form editor and then click Save again to confirm your checkout settings. And after this, return to the checkout menu. This next step is about store policies that we just discussed and are very important for your business. So you can add them directly here as well. And when you do that, they will appear at the final step of the checkout, where customers can click on them to open your policies in a pop-up window. And this will make it super easy for them to read it before purchase. The last step here is adjusting the checkout style in case you want it to look different from the default. On the left, you will find several styling options and you can see the changes immediately in the preview. Feel free to experiment, and if you don't like something, you can use the redo button to step back, and to remove all changes, either click Reset to Default or click Cancel and then Discard. And with that, the checkout customization is complete. You can test it by adding an item to your cart, clicking the cart icon and proceeding to the checkout. Since this is a trial website, I can't go beyond a certain step because the payment is not set up. Normally, in the next step, I would enter the card details and then I would be able to see the store policies in a pop-up window. I believe once you subscribe to a business plan, you will be able to walk through the full process. Before we finish, let's briefly cover tax settings. Go back to Settings, Selling and Taxes. There is now an option for automated tax rates, which automatically calculates how much sales tax, VAT or GST to charge based on your location where you sell and where your customers are. Currently this feature is free, but from what I understand, it may become a paid feature later, so now it's a great time to try it out. To use it, you will need to register your business for tax in the regions where it's required, set up your business address, and choose your default tax codes. Then add the countries, states, or postal codes where you plan to collect tax. In this menu, you can also decide whether tax should be included in your product prices or displayed separately at checkout, and additional tax settings can be adjusted here as well. That said, tax can be a complex topic with rules that can be widely different between countries and even regions. So I am not a tax professional. I cannot give you specific advice on how to configure your taxes. It really depends on your situation. To make sure that you are fully compliant, I recommend consulting a tax advisor or a lawyer. You can set up taxes manually. In this case, you will manually enter the tax percentage for each region, and you will also decide whether tax should apply to shipping, digital products, or services. A few limitations to keep in mind. With manual tax rates, you can't apply different rules to specific products that requires automatic taxes. Manual setup can also be challenging if you need to handle very local or region-specific rates outside the US and Canada. That's why I recommend consulting a tax professional to make sure everything is configured correctly for your business. I hope this video was helpful and that you will enjoy making your beautiful website and online shop. I wish you a lot of success with it and I hope to see you again in another video.